report account, but I want to show you the reason why I'm talking about inquiries, late payments, collections, and charge off today is because that's where we get the bulk of our points. All right. So where it says payment history, that's 35% of your credit score. Okay. Uh, Also, credit utilization, your debt to income ratio, how much you owe, how much credit are you using, as opposed to how much you were approved for. We're also, credit history and age is also important. A lot of people ask me about deleting their student loans, but when I have consultations with them and they tell me that their student loans are not in default, if they're not in default, don't touch them. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're my age, I'm in my 40s, and you got student loans on your credit report, they're actually helping your credit report because they're not in default. All right. The age history from that account is actually helping your credit score. So you don't want to delete student loans or accounts that are old that are not negative or derogatory because they're actually helping. So if I was to take my student loans and delete them from my credit report, my credit score would tank because a lot of my accounts are old accounts that come from my student loans and they're not derogatory. So I wouldn't touch those if they're not derogatory or negative. Okay. So I want to focus on payment history, which is late payments, collections, and charge-offs. All right. Credit agent history and utilization. Now, for the first one, which is permissible purpose, let's talk about permissible purpose real quick. All right. And I want to take you to this actual law. When you go into a finance company, when you apply for anything, okay, when you first walk into that place and you apply for anything, they're going to give you a application. Pay attention to that application because sometimes when you sign, you're thinking you're just signing an application. Some of these companies have those small clauses written in small print saying that you're giving them permission to pull your credit report, or you're giving them permission to report to your credit report. Okay. Now, that's fine and dandy. You sign it, and if they make it clearly and conspicuously to you and say, okay, you're going to sign this application, you're giving us permission to check your credit report. All right. When they check your credit report, that's where the inquiries come into play. All right. But I'm talking about permissible purpose right now, right? So, okay, that's fine and dandy. I gave you permission to check my credit. All right. So now when we go down to 15 USC 1681B, we're going to go down to 15 USC 1681B. This is A. All right. Let's go down to B. This is the right one. I think this is the right one. All right. So it's BA. That's right. So we're going to go to A and we're going to go to 2. All right. So now it says the only way that they can check your credit report or have permission to check your credit report is that they have permissible purpose, which is telling us in accordance with written instructions. All right. So when they gave you that application and they told you to sign here, that's written instruction. They told you. Now verbally, if you're disputing inquiries, you will have some companies say, oh, I asked you and you said yes, blah, 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 on the phone and stuff like that. This law says written instruction. Okay, let me highlight the word written for you. This says written instruction. Okay. So they have to, that application is actually written instruction, or they give you a statement that's on a separate sheet of paper saying that you're giving us permission to check your credit. Okay. So if it's not written, they did not have permissible purpose. All right. 15 USC 1681B, they have to have permissible purpose. Now, okay, you disputing this account. Okay, I didn't give you permission and you send them a notice telling them you didn't give them permission. Okay. And they send you response back saying you did. All right. Let's backtrack. I like to get the companies, I like to have them like have their backs against the wall. And what I mean by that is right here where I got written permission, I also have opt out. I have the word and opt out because they have to have written permission and they have to give you an opportunity to opt out. All right. Let me click on this again to take this off. All right. That's the 15 USC 16802. Let me go to that one. 15 USC 6802. This is where they have to give you an option to opt out of credit reporting or pulling your credit because you gave them the permission when you signed the application, right? But did they, once they Once you sign, before you sign it, did they give you or did they tell you that you have the option to opt out of reporting? Okay. Let me go to 15 USC 6802. Let me go to Title 15. Let me go down to 6802. This is what they have to tell you. You're giving us permission to check your credit report or report anything to your credit report, but you also have the option to opt out. This is where you get everything, anything you want deleted from your credit report. I know you've probably watched a lot of videos and people sending you to this law and they're sending you to that law. I've got a number of accounts deleted because of the Privacy Act. That's the 15 USC 6802. Obligation with disclosures to personal information. All right. If you come down to B, 6802B, where it says opt out, let me read to you what it says. They have to do these 3 things before they can report anything to your credit report or check your credit report. And if you didn't give them permission to do this, they did not have permissible purpose. All right. They did not have permissible purpose. So it says, in general, a financial institution may not disclose non-public personal information to a non-affiliated third party unless they do the 3 things. And they have to do all 3 because these 3 ABC say and. Okay. Anytime you read the law and it says and, they have to do all 3 things before they can do anything with your non-public personal information. And what I mean by non-public personal information is, we're on this chat and we know other people can see the comments, right? Would you put your social security number in that chat? Would you put your home address in that chat? Would you put your phone number or any type of information that you don't want anybody to know in that chat? No, that's what we call your non-public personal information. And when you filled out that application, you gave them all of that information. Now, when they check your credit report, that's an inquiry. That's them furnishing that information to that credit report, the consumer reporting agency, because they have to know who, name, they have to know what social security number to check it under. They have to have the correct address for that consumer reporting agency to even give them the correct credit score. So they furnish information to get you to check your credit. Now, these 3 things they have to do to opt out, for you to opt out, or they give you the option to opt out. All right, so unless such financial institution clearly and conspicuously discloses to the consumer you in writing or in electronic form or other form permitted by the regulations prescribed under that section, that such information may be disclosed to that third party. So they first have to get permission from you, written or electronic. It didn't say orally. It said written, writing, or electronic form. So if they do it in electronic form, and this is how they get away with a lot of stuff that they do, they'll do it in electronic form, but they'll say, click here, click here, click here, click here. Not telling you, click that, read that real quick. You have time to do it. Click this one, read that here. That's electronic form. But how did they make it clearly and conspicuously to you? Okay. Also, B, the consumer is given the opportunity before the time that such information is initially disclosed to direct that such information not be disclosed. So the opt-out part is, did they tell you that you can opt out of having your stuff reported? All right. That's B. They have to let you know this beforehand. Okay. And C, the consumer is given an explanation of how that they can exercise that non-disclosure right. So if they pull your credit report and you don't have the knowledge of this, they have to have in that application that if you signed it and they pulled it, but you wanted to opt out and they didn't give you that option to opt out, they have to have a clause, a disclosure, a statement inside of that application letting you know this is the address, contact us here, or you can contact whatever consumer reporting agency they pulled it from, contact them and you can have it disputed that way. Disputed with us at this address, or you can get it disputed with the consumer reporting agency. So for them to even put anything on your credit report, for them to even pull your credit report, they have to have permissible purpose. Okay.